Hi everyone, it's Orit Esther from Or Talk. And now that we've exited this beautiful, beautiful Chag Shavuot, I actually had the zchut, the merit to teach a class here in Ramat Bet Shemesh. And being that it wasn't taped, some have asked that some of the concepts be recorded and be bulleted in terms of us maybe being able to still relive some of that energy that we felt during this beautiful Chag, the Yahrzeit of the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, David HaMelech HaKadosh, Imrei Emet HaKadosh, and a lot of these concepts that we spoke about, which were really just pointing out some major concepts of Chassidut and how the Baal Shem Tov has affected the world at large up until today, are obviously very applicable still for us to learn. So let's see if we can recap some of the ideas, although I will say, as I've said to some of the ladies even that night, that what you can learn on Erev Shavuot and the Yahrzeit of the Baal Shem Tov is not something you can necessarily recap in its entirety during any other time of the year, because there's certainly a certain energy, a beautiful depth of level of consciousness and understanding that comes with that night. And with the day of Shavuot. But let's see what we could do to try to gain some of that light and levels of understanding and enable that to take us further into the coming weeks. So one of the major concepts of Chassidut, again, these aren't new ideas. The Baal Shem Tov did not introduce new ideas. He just returned to us that which has been forgotten. For hundreds of years, so much of that which we have learned from the mystics had been lost. And so when the Baal Shem Tov came on the brink of such despair after Shabtai Tzvi, the false Messiah, had come and disappointed a whole nation and really tricked so many, even of our Gdolim, there needed to be this revelation of that which was forgotten, that would bring back to life a nation that had somewhat lost hope in the coming of Mashiach and the redemption, in the idea of sensing and really experiencing a loving God. So one of the main fundamental concepts of Chassidut is that there's nothing else in the whole world but God. It's not that there's a oneness and there's a God. And it's not like, oh, there's this and now there's the oneness of the this. No, there's only oneness. And that oneness is Hashem. Everything is Hashem. Hashem is everything. Leit atar panui mineha are the words in so many of the Chassidut scriptures, means nothing is void or empty of Hashem's presence. Hashem is the only reality. Because we exist in this only reality, that's Hashem. Therefore, everything that we interact with, everything that we hear, anytime we're attracted to somebody, something, we need to recognize that that is, in that object, that circumstance, that person, there is only a manifestation of Hashem. There isn't that person, there isn't the body. The body separates the consciousness from what is truth and in reality, the real reality. There's only a manifestation of Hashem's divine will, inviting us to get to know Him through the circumstance, the thing, the object, the event, the person. And it's through everything that we're only really summoned to do one thing with that. We're summoned to do one thing with all of reality, and that is to reveal Hashem's light and presence, and within that, it's sort of that still that one thing that needs to be done. Once we reveal Hashem, what has to be revealed in Hashem is Hashem's loving kindness. His benevolence to creation has to be brought forth. So what that means is that we live in a reality where everything is Hashem, and we are meant to find Hashem's will behind that which we are interfacing with at this given moment, at any given moment, and then to seek not just to find, oh, it's you, Hashem, here in this difficulty, but where is your love? Where is your kindness? Where is your chesed, right? Where is that in that which I'm facing, in the most distraught and challenging situations in life? And that's what happened in Matan Torah. We were stripped from all of this, all of the mechitzas, all the obstacles, all the barriers, all the delusionary walls and barriers, and our souls became so illuminated that it couldn't bear the barrier called body, and essentially exited the limiting form called the body and joined as one with the other souls, thus sensing the maximum amount of light that we can possibly feel while still being called a soul, because a soul still is in one level or another. It's not Hashem, it's a ray, it's a spark, it's an extension, it's a manifestation of godliness, but it's obviously still not the being in the oneness completely with Hashem. There's still some sort of level of extension here, right? But that was the closest that we can ever get. We were face to face on the level of Adam before the Chet, Adam before the sin, face to face with Hashem, where the Torah essentially removed us from what's called Galut HaNefesh, from the exile of the soul. The soul is in shackles and does not want to be in the body. The soul has a tafkid, has a job, has a role to elevate the coarseness of the body and the animalistic innate natural tendencies and desires to want to be separate and recognize and go under the umbrella of the illusionary ego of the me and the you and the separateness and the I and the them and the we and all this separateness. But the soul's job is to break open the delusion and reveal within it the kindness that Hashem has given us the opportunity to find Him and relate to Him and attach ourselves to Him from within this exile. So how do we gain this consciousness? How can we accelerate the process, so to speak? How can we excel in the process of revealing this light and living in this consciousness while in body? Well, one of the ways is by ratzon, by wanting. As we yearn to cleave, as we yearn to fulfill and self-actualize and reveal a deeper part of self, that is, the Baal Shem Tov teaches, that is so cherished above. And essentially, as some who have taken past programs, especially the one called Crown to Kingship, we learn that the ratzon, the letters switched around, spells the word sinol, is a pipeline. That is the channel for Hashem to show, so to speak, His face to us and reveal to us that He is Tov Umeitiv. He's good and only does good. And then we can experience that good. So when we want to pierce the layers of externals, of body, of material, of what the world screams out to us as you, me, them, again, this whole idea of separateness, as we shatter in mind, consciousness, saying, no, I know there is something else but what the world is telling me. That's all a delusion. I have free will. You and I have free will to choose to see beyond the externals. That yearning, that desire to want to see something different is essentially the pipeline. That is what opens up the pipeline to be able to see and experience Hashem in the greatest level possible. And that's what Har Sinai was all about. In Har Sinai, Hashem gave us Torah, but what is Torah? Torah is essentially, again, manifestation and a glimpse into the infinite divine wisdom of Hashem. Hashem gave us, He ingrained in us by giving us Torah, a part of His essence, Mamash, a part of His essence. Our soul took the front seat. we truly left Mitzrayim from the word Yetzarim, our taivas, right? Our in fact, as this week's parsha speaks about, Kivot HaTa'ava, the graves of craving, right? Parashat Bahalotcha speaks about the idea of Am Yisrael when they were in the desert. They were craving, right, the delusions of Mitzrayim. One of the things that we were able to release ourselves from as we left Mitzrayim is the Gitzarim, are these cravings, these delusions, this Yetzer Hara, this evil inclination that gets us to think as though we're missing something. And in today's world, these Yetzarim are called the media, certain rigid ideas, politics, believing, certain concepts that are being fed to us, again, from various different media channels. The Torah frees us from all of this. The Torah frees us to get us to be able to think for ourselves, to think infinitely on a level of infinity, to think without restraint, to think about possibilities, to expand our consciousness. Every time we think about something in such a rigid manner, we're basically enslaved, because any limitation, anytime we think or do things in a very regular, mundane way, right, believe certain belief systems only boxed in a certain way, and we're not willing to expand our mind to infinite possibilities, that is what the definition of a slave essentially really is. So essentially what happened at Har Sinai was we stood as one man. All of our kochot nefesh, there was no more body, all the souls joined together. We felt we were, how was it that we all healed at Har Sinai? Because we were together as one nation. One nation. There was no you and me. There was no negative emotions of you took this or I took that, or you have this or I don't have that, because we saw ourselves in our true form as a soul shining, rays of light shining from the source, from the oneness of Hashem. We saw how we each join together and complement one another and complete one another, and all of the delusions of the separateness completely dissolved, and that was essentially enabled every person to feel 100% healed. That's what the Torah does for us. It keeps us united, because Hashem doesn't just give us Torah, He gives us Himself, so to speak. Right? The Torah is a resource to discover Hashem, the essence of Hashem. And what is Hashem? Hashem is good. Tovu Meitiv. The ultimate source of good is He Himself. That's what Hashem wants to give us. He, so to speak, Himself. So that's a little synopsis of one of the basic tenets of Chassidut. I'm happy to share more, Be'ezrat Hashem, in coming Or Talks. But this is what we should leave Shavuot, so to speak, but it should still have such a fine impression on us. But this is how we should be leaving, so to speak, Shavuot, with that sense and feeling that all those channels of wisdom, of recognition of the real truth of reality, can only be purified by learning Torah, because Torah is the written infinite knowledge, so to speak, of Hashem, sending us a message of the way we need to lead ourselves back to finding Hashem and breaking the externals and breaking the delusions and the barriers of the universe, and finding the true essence of what life is all about and why we're here, and not get caught by the enticements and temptations that are all delusional anyway, and then being misled and, God forbid, miss our opportunities to be able to really utilize our time, our limited time in this world, to be able to serve the purpose of why we came here. And that's, again, to reveal Hashem, His kindness and His love, and to shine that out and be mashpia tov, to positively influence and affect every person we possibly can with that knowledge. Be'ezrat Hashem, naseh v'natzliach. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should have a wonderful week. carrying with us the light of Hasidut, of the Baal Shem Tov, of David HaMelech, of the Tzaddikim, of the Torah, and it should continue to heal us on all levels, mind, body, and soul. Have a wonderful day.